to the Ukraine question, I would like also to add that we have been supporting the heroic fight of the Ukrainian people for now 4 years. I think on our side, actions speak louder than words.
And we are not reacting every day to every kind of communication in social media. We have a clear vision about our relationship.
Yes, thank you very much. We had indeed very good discussions tonight about our transatlantic relations, and I want to focus on two geostrategic issues of strong relevance to our European security. The one is Greenland and the other one is Ukraine, and here specifically its future prosperity. First on Greenland, we are clearly in a better position than we were 24 hours ago. And tonight we drew the lessons of our collective strategy. So what did we do? First of all, there was, as you said, Antonio, unequivocal solidarity with Greenland and Denmark. Second, we also stood firmly with the 6 member states that were threatened with tariffs. Third point, we engaged very actively with the United States on various levels. We did so in a firm but non-escalatory manner. And the fourth point was that we are well prepared with trade countermeasures and non-tariff instruments if tariffs would have been applied. So to sum up, we followed 4 key principles: firmness, outreach, preparedness, and unity. And it was effective, so going forward we should maintain this very approach. A broader point now on Arctic and Arctic security, and I will start with investment. We have collectively underinvested in the Arctic and Arctic security, so now it's high time to step up and to build on what we already achieved. 2 years ago, before all of this year started, I was in Greenland to open our European Union office in Nuuk. And last year we launched agreements that will lead to additional investments in clean energy, in critical raw materials, and in digital connectivity. And for the next long-term EU budget, we have already proposed to double the financial support for Greenland. So right now, we are working on enhancing the EU relationship with Greenland. And as part of this, the Commission will soon put forward a substantive package of investments. Beyond investment, we also intend to deepen cooperation with the United States and all partners on the important topic of Arctic security. In particular, we believe we should use our defence spending surge on Arctic-ready equipment, a European icebreaker, for example, and we should strengthen our security and defence arrangement with partners in the region, such as the UK, Canada, Norway, and Iceland, and others. This has become a real geopolitical necessity. As you know, the security guarantees that we have discussed, among others, in the Paris meeting on the 6th of January, brought good progress. And now we are waiting for Russia to respond. And on the prosperity package, the second big package, we are close to an agreement with the United States and Ukraine on one single unified prosperity framework. It looks as how we can boost the prosperity of Ukraine the moment there is the achievement of a ceasefire or peace.
Tonight you're standing here saying that the United States is your close ally and that you want to make the relation that you built for 80 years continue working. And I understand what you say that, but the reality is that something has fundamentally changed. Something is broken in the relation because the President of the United States openly threatened to impose tariffs to seize Greenland from Denmark. He said it publicly, he said it proudly, bluntly and apologetically that's what he wanted to do. Then he backtracked, as we know, but the threat was there. So after this extraordinary assault, how can you credibly trust the United States as an ally? How can you tell European citizens that the United States will abide by the principle of collective defense? And how can you work with the United States to protect Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity, while at the same time the United States try to violate Denmark's territorial integrity and sovereignty? How can you reconcile this reality? Thank you.
Well, first of all, we uphold very clear for the basic principles. We fully support our member states, in this case Denmark, to defend their sovereignty, their territorial integrity. At the same time, we believe in the Transatlantic Alliance, and we will continue engage to have a good relationship with the United States. And we are always very frank with friends and with allies. And I said we believe that between friends, allies, partners, you need to manage our relationship with cordiality and with respectful way. Is what we are doing with the United States, and we will continue. Firm in the principles, engage with partners and allies.
Yes, indeed. Let me complement that. It was very clear in the discussion that we were successful in withstanding by being firm but non-escalatory and, most importantly, very united. But there was also a discussion on the clarity with which we know that we have to work more and more for an independent Europe. This is not something which happened overnight. This is hard work. And the main ingredients, the main topics to work on for an independent Europe is economic power and the security infrastructure that is necessary.
To President Costa, Volodymyr Zelensky today made a speech in Davos and launched a pretty scathing rebuke of Europe, calling it a fragmented kaleidoscope of small and middle powers that looks lost trying to persuade Donald Trump to end the war in Ukraine. How do you respond to that criticism? Is Europe lost and divided, as he says? And to President von der Leyen, you are saying that the EU's strategy here of being non-escalatory and firm was successful in persuading Donald Trump to change his mind this week. But you didn't meet Donald Trump, and the member states were divided on how to respond, with France pushing for the use of the anti-coercion instrument, Germany, Italy not. So the EU was maybe a bit less divided less united than some have said. What makes you think that it was the EU that was effective in getting Donald Trump to change his mind and not other factors, Mark Rutte's strategy, stock markets, US domestic politics? Thanks.
Well, on Ukraine we focus only in the main issue. And the main issue is to support Ukrainians to achieve a just and lasting peace. Is what we have been doing since day one, and we will continue to support Ukraine and Ukrainians to achieve a just and lasting peace.
So all the elements you have just mentioned may also have played a role without any question, but without firmness, non-escalatory responses and unity on the European Union, they would not have worked. So therefore it's a mixture of all of it, but our unity and our determination is important. And to the Ukraine question, I would like also to add that we have been supporting the heroic fight of the Ukrainian people for now 4 years. I think on our side, actions speak louder than words. We are the largest supporter of Ukraine in the last 4 years, more than 193 billion euros, and the European Council has just decided to add to this sum another 90 billion euros for the next 2 years. We know that we will never match the sacrifice of the Ukrainian people, but what we can do is stand by their side, and I think the figures speak for themselves, but also the personal engagement of all of us is speaking for itself.
For both presidents, Trump creates a problem, invents a deal to solve it, and then we all come here for a summit, and everything that we do is reactive. And I know that you're saying you want to stay cordial, but he's not being cordial in the way he acts with you. So the question is, what are we going to do differently going forward? If he reinstates his threat to take over Greenland, this deal doesn't work. What did you discuss inside these meetings that could be different? The use of the anti-coercion instrument, did you discuss it? How far would you go? Thank you.
Look, the European way of life is different than the American way of life. We respect the American way of life. But from our point of view, it's very important to preserve and cherish our transatlantic partnership. That's why over the last year, the European Commission engaged to stabilize our trade relationship. That's why the NATO allies work with the United States to stabilize NATO, and that's why all of us are working with the United States to keep them engaged to achieve and to support Ukraine to achieve a just and lasting peace. And we will continue. And we are not reacting every day to every kind of communication in social media. We have a clear vision about our relationship.